In this week's episode, we're talking about extreme weather conditions and, in particular, tornadoes. The United States is hit by more than 1,000 tornadoes every year. One characteristic of these severe storms is extremely strong winds, which often cause huge amounts of damage, as well as being potentially fatal. The storms are most likely to occur in areas where warm, wet air from the south meets cooler, drier air from the north. The states of Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Nebraska are frequently hit by tornadoes. As a result, this area in the center of the United States has become known as Tornado Alley. So, what makes these natural events so dangerous? Unlike hurricanes, which can be identified several days before they hit, tornadoes develop very quickly. On average, weather monitoring organizations can only spot a tornado 13 minutes before it hits. Since the 1970s, scientists have been studying these storms in order to better understand them. However, as tornadoes are so unpredictable, this is extremely challenging and extremely risky. This is where storm chasers play an important role. Storm chasers follow tornadoes in order to track their changing movements and characteristics. Obviously, this is incredibly dangerous. But storm chasers are not simply people who love taking risks. Many film or photograph the storms they are following and share these images with local and national weather organizations. These personal reports help organizations to understand the current conditions and inform the wider public about what is happening. Some chasers also attempt to measure things like temperature and wind speed while the storm is moving through an area. On the 31st of May 2013, a particularly severe and unpredictable tornado hit El Reno in Oklahoma. 20 people died in the extreme conditions, including one highly experienced storm chaser called Tim Samaras. Samaras was born in Lakewood, in the U.S. state of Colorado. As a child, Samaras had been obsessed with the story of The Wizard of Oz, in which a tornado carries the main character, Dorothy, away from her home in Kansas to the world of Oz. This inspired his keen interest in storms and the weather. In the 1990s, Samaras began exploring his passion by filming storms, then selling his videos to weather stations. Later, he started to develop scientific instruments for measuring storms. Samaras used one of these devices, which was informally known as the Turtle, during a severe storm in 2003, and it managed to record a number of measurements, despite being hit by incredibly strong winds. As a result of the instrument's impressive performance in these difficult conditions, Samaras became well known in the field, and he later went on to work with scientists and researchers for many years. In his book, The Man Who Caught the Storm, which was published in 2018, the journalist Brantley Hargrove explains that Samaras wanted to learn about tornadoes in order to save people's lives. Samaras knew that taking measurements from the ground during a storm was essential, as this is the level at which the storm causes damage to buildings, vehicles, people, and animals. Scientists are slowly learning more about tornadoes, but they need more accurate, real-life data in order to progress. Now, Brantley Hargrove is here to tell us more about Tim Samaras and the impact his storm-chasing work had on various research projects. Brantley, welcome. Could you start by telling us what it was about Tim's story that interested you? When did you first hear about his work?